channel we wouldn't usually talk about here. That's our rival,
Gives me
if you like.
PTSD.
GB News. Now, Dan Wootton, formerly of that parish, I think he's suspended. He hasn't been on air for some time. He was suspended after a on-air conversation with the actor-turned-political activist Laurence Fox, in which they made the conversation made inappropriate suggestions about our colleague Ava Santina. It turns out it's the most complained about Ofcom piece of television of the year. Ofcom, of course, being the broadcasting watchdog. So not a great moment for our rivals GB News, not a great moment for Dan, and certainly not a moment for Laurence Fox, who was actually sacked from GB News for this. So Dan is suspended, Laurence was sacked, a very unpopular segment of television, obviously among the public. Your thoughts?
I think we maybe have to work a bit harder to be more controversial ourselves then, don't we? No.
None of that. I mean, they did cross the line.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's the difficulty with new channels and you know, the new kind of, do we call it censoriousness? I think what happened in that particular incident was obviously past the line, but it plays into a wider cultural feeling about free speech rights and people. When you're not free to be able to police yourselves and your mates properly, when someone says something that you think is a bit off colour and you go, come on, mate, sort it out, right? That is being replaced by a lot more censorious people trying to come in with the heavy-handed law and things like that. You saw Sadiq Khan's campaign of saying mate and trying to force you through posters to kind of regulate how your friends work. That's not how we should be kind of regulating speech. It should be a lot more organic. And I think that if that happens, then people are less likely to go and cross the line.
Broadcasters have to know where the line is,
I think it's
and
very,
they crossed it.
I think this thing's very easy, isn't it? You know, you cross the line when you start being personal and deeply unpleasant about somebody. I think we've all got a moral compass and we all know what is right and what is wrong. And it was just wrong to say it. It's not about free speech. It was just nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah. So... I mean, free speech, I don't think there should be any laws about what you can and cannot say. But certainly on television, you've got to understand basically common decency.
Well,
and
just generally as a human,
this conversation was awful. And Dan Wootton, when Laurence Fox made comments, inappropriate comments about Ava, he looked like a fox sort of trapped in the headlights and just didn't respond and let the conversation carry on. So he wasn't really up to speed as a presenter on that one.
They threw him under the bus.
I think if I were Ava, I would take succour from the words of my hero, Margaret Thatcher, who said that she cheered up immensely whenever anybody resorted to a personal attack because she knew that meant they didn't have a single decent argument left.
Yeah, very good.